Hello, live audience. How is everyone doing tonight? My name is Jason Wheeler. I am marketing coordinator for the Carrollton-Farmers Branch Independent School District. We are so happy that you're joining us tonight to discuss pre-K, otherwise known as pre-kindergarten. If you want to learn more about our pre-K program in CFBISD, you can go to www.cfbisd.edu/pre-K. So we're going to let about 30 seconds go by to let some of our viewers populate. So we'll be getting started soon. Sorry, I'm having tongue twisted right now. But we want to welcome all of our viewers from all around the DFW Metroplex and all over the country. We're very happy for you to be with us tonight. Once again, our website is www.cfbisd.edu/pre-K. You can get all the information you need to enroll your student in pre-K in CFBISD. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Jason Wheeler with CFBISD. Just to recap a little bit what's going on tonight, this is pre-K Live, where our expert panel of educators is going to answer your questions as young parents with students that are about to begin the pre-K process. They are expert educators here to answer all of your questions. If you have any questions, you can definitely ask in our chat function on our live page. We'll have call screeners there to be able to answer your questions, and our panel will answer those. You can also ask your questions on Facebook Live if you're joining us from Facebook. You can get those and have those ready. Also, if you are on your phone, you can talk to a call screener. You can hit *3 to talk to a call screener, and they're going to type in the questions for us to answer live. So we're very excited about this event, and what I want to do is introduce you to all of our expert educators. We're going to go down the line, starting with Erica, and they're going to introduce themselves.
Hello and good evening. My name is Erica Ortiz. I teach at Central Elementary. I have been teaching for 11 years, and 10 of those have been in pre-K. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Trina Brazil, and I teach at Freeman Elementary. I have been teaching for 21 years, and 14 of those years have been here in CFB.
Good evening. My name is Tahira Hassan. I teach at Freeman Elementary, and this is my 14th year with CFB.
Hello everyone, my name is Yesenia Cervantes. This is my 5th year teaching pre-K, but I have been in CFB my whole educational life. I was a product of CFB myself, so it's good to be home.
Good evening, my name is Alex Clare. I am a teacher at McWhorter Elementary for the 6 years, and I also grew up in CFB and graduated from Newman Smith High School.
Hi, my name is Yannette Cardoza. I am the Director of Admissions in Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD. I've been in education for 15 years now, about half of those in Carrollton-Farmers Branch ISD, a super amazing school district.
Thank you so much, teachers and administrators. We really appreciate you being here. We're going to start with some questions that have been submitted earlier. But remember, if you have questions and you want those answered live, hit *3 on your phone if you're listening on your phone, and you can talk with a call screener and they'll get those questions into us. Or you can leave your comments in the chat feature that's on our webpage at cfbisd.edu/live. Or you can answer your questions or submit your questions on Facebook, and we will get those answered as soon as possible. But we're going to start, and all of our panel is going to answer this first question. And the question is, we get this a lot from parents: what can I do now to ensure my child has a successful start to pre-kindergarten?
Okay. Aside from the reading, letters, colors, numbers, I personally would say something that you can do that's going to be most beneficial for your student or your child is to have conversations with them often about preparing for pre-K, to get them mentally and emotionally ready for us, for school, for being with us, and mommy and daddy will not be there. Just really talking to them about the fun we're going to have, and telling them they're going to have friendships and we're going to do a lot of activities together, and there will be times mommy and daddy can come and join us, but it's really the mental and emotional readiness that I would emphasize on.
To follow up with what Erica said, you want to look at pre-K or joining pre-K like a vacation. So you're wanting to motivate your child to want to come to pre-K. I would advise parents to drive by the school, to look at the playground, to talk about, again, how much fun they're going to have there. You could even get a box and put some school supplies in it and put a ticket to welcome to pre-K and have your child unwrap that box and just talk about how awesome pre-K is going to be. And then they will be begging you every day, is it time to go to pre-K yet?
Adding on to what Trina just said, separation anxiety is a big one for the first day of our little ones. So I would suggest, like during summer, have them enroll in some kind of short class or some kind of sports where they get used to of getting away from mommy and daddy for a couple of hours. So that would prepare them for the coming days, long hours.
I would like to add some independent skills. They are now, I like to tell my kiddos, like, you're a big kid, you're in school. So for them to be able to use the restroom independently, carry their backpack independently, maybe put their clothes on independently as well. And then also that helps them work on those fine motor skills, which are really important for when they start school, because those fine motor skills are going to help them when they write and do other activities like cutting as well.
And lastly, I would just add that we do want them to be reading every day with you and make reading a special experience so that when they come to school, they have had those experiences and can start building their literacy and cognitive skills as well.
I would recommend just encouraging your child to build their own personality and learn how to build friendships in the real world when they go out to parks or go out to social events at home, so that they can carry those skills over at the school. That will help them be successful as well.
And we told you these were expert educators. Thank you for all those wonderful answers. We have the best teachers of all time in CFBISD, so thank you. So just to recap, we are live talking about pre-kindergarten, and we are taking your questions live on Facebook, on our chat feature on our webpage, and also if you hit *3, you can talk to a call screener. We really appreciate all the people that have jumped on and are watching us. Pre-kindergarten is a very important first step for all children, so we really encourage that in our district. So our next questions deal with sort of a day in the life of a pre-kindergartner. So we're going to start asking those, and we have some specific people that are going to answer those as we go down. So here we go with the first question for individuals. What does a typical day look like in pre-kindergarten?
So in CFB, you do have two options for pre-kindergarten. We have half-day programs, and we also have full-day programs. At Freeman Elementary, we teach at a full-day pre-K program. We teach in a full-day pre-K program. These programs are very similar. One program is just shorter, a half day, obviously 3 hours, but they contain the same elements. So some of those things that your child are going to experience are obviously the lunch, the recess, the snack time. Those are in both programs. The children will eat at school. They'll have time to go outside for physical activity. We do have reading, writing, math, science, social studies, and technology embedded throughout the day. Your child will spend a lot of time in play. Our program is a play-based program, and so we really feel strongly that children learn best when they are playing. So that's kind of what they look like coming in. The school day for a full day program is from 7:40 until 2:55. And for a half day program, it's 7:40 to 10:40. And then the second program, I believe, starts 11:55 to 2:55 if it's a half day program. Do you want to add anything, Erica?
Sure, thank you. I would just add a little bit about what your day may look like as a child. You're going to walk in, maybe have an activity on the table for them to do just while we get the morning routines going. Maybe do a little circle time or calendar time with songs, interacting with each other, greeting each other, getting our day started. Do a little seat work perhaps, come back to the carpet, maybe some book reading and role playing. Some campuses, such as mine at Central Elementary, we do have daily activities time or specials where they do get to go to art, which is with another teacher, like the rest of our campus does. Music is another one they may go to, and PE. So it's a 3-day rotation at Central Elementary that they do join those activities. They come back later at some point. We have lunch. We do also have a snack early on. And as Trina said, recess, and at some point we have a bit of a rest time for those who still need rest time. It is for everyone, and that may look a little different depending on the campus, but that time trickles down as the year progresses, but a lot of interacting, just being social with one another. Thank you.
Awesome. So here's the next question from a parent. Do pre-K students have any special activities or involved in specials at your school?
So our students get 30 minutes of structured physical activity every day, and they may be using a balance beam to practice their balance or some of the other motor, fine motor skills while they are playing outside. And I know we have some more that.
I also wanted to add that throughout the school year, depending on the campus, like Erica said, we do things a little bit differently, but we do have different activities throughout the school year. I know at my campus at Fresno, we have a letter day parade at the beginning of the year where we celebrate our letters, and towards the end of the school year, I know other campuses also do a day such like water day or field day where students get to participate in that. And my school, we do as well book character parade where we dress up like a character in our book and we march around the whole school. And it's a really, really neat activity. We definitely get the kiddos involved in all these activities, and they enjoy these things, and they enjoy going to school for those reasons.
Excellent. We have a very important question that I'm going to answer very, very quickly because it sort of sums up who is a pre-K student. You need to be 4 years of age by September 1st in CFBISD to be considered a pre-kindergartner. So hopefully that helps answer that question that was asked online. Age 4 by September 1st. Okay. All right. We're going to go on to the next question. We sort of answered this a little bit, but do pre-K students follow the same school hours as the rest of the school?
So for our full day pre-K, they follow the same hours, 7:40 to 2:55. But for half day pre-K, there will be an AM and a PM, as Trina was explaining, 7:40 to 10:40, and then 11:55 to 2:55.
Awesome. So we have another question that just came in because some people are asking, well, where do I go to pre-K? What schools are available for certain programs? So I'm going to read those out real quick, then we'll go back to the questions that we already had submitted for tonight. So full day pre-K, that's full day pre-K, are at the following schools: Carrollton Elementary, Central Elementary, Freeman Elementary, Fresno Elementary, Kent Elementary, McWhorter Elementary, and River Chase Elementary. Half-day schools include Farmers Branch Elementary, Good Elementary, McCamey Elementary, and Start Elementary. And someone did ask, if you are zoned for La Valita, you will go to River Chase Pre-K. All right, hope that helps. So we're going to go on to the next question, which is important to me, I know, as a person. But so what about lunch? Can they bring their lunch? Can they buy their lunch? How does lunch work in pre-K?
So students are able to either bring their lunch or choose to buy their lunch from the cafeteria. I would check on the menu on the website to see day-to-day what will be offered in the cafeteria. If there's something that they don't like, they're welcome to bring their lunch with them any day. And also we wanted to let y'all know, to let the teacher or the nurse know of any dietary restrictions that your child may have or may need special accommodations for.
And just to add on that, if the student is bringing a lunch, during the summer, you guys can start right now actually, practice on how to open the containers, how to open if a bag of chips, whatever they send in, and then also practicing how to eat by themselves. We are there and we are there to help the kiddos if they need help, but it helps us a lot more when the students can do it independently, and that goes back to those independent skills. Just because there's so many of them and there's only us and the assistant, and so if they can do it by themselves, that helps them a lot, and they can get eating faster. We have 30 minutes of lunchtime, and I know sometimes they like to talk to their friends, which is awesome, but we have to use those 30 minutes to eat. So go ahead and start practicing with them now, how to open it and how to eat it themselves.
Okay, Yesenia, I'm going to stay with you. What about breakfast? Is breakfast offered to our pre-K students?
Yes, absolutely. Different campuses do it a little bit different. I know that at Furneaux, at 7, so we open the doors at 7:10. Students start coming in. But pre-K does not go to breakfast as soon as they come in. We actually go to breakfast all together as a class. But I know that other campuses, as soon as they open the doors, they can start going to breakfast. So just make sure with your campus to see what breakfast is going to look like. But for sure, everybody gets the opportunity to get breakfast in the mornings.
Great. So I'll give you a break, but what about snacks, Deira?
Yes, the snack time is embedded in our schedule, so students get 15 minutes to eat, and we encourage healthy snacks like fruits and goldfish. And while they're enjoying their snacks, they either listen to a read aloud or sing nursery rhymes.
Great. So we really appreciate all your answers so far and all your questions that have been coming in. Just to recap, this is Pre-Kindergarten Live. We're going live on our website and on Facebook Live, but you can ask questions on those platforms as well. So leave your comments in the chat feature on our website or in the comment section of Facebook, or hit *3 on your phone. And guess what? We've already had a lot of people doing that. So I'm going to let Angela ask the panel some questions that have come in so far.
Okay, I've had a couple of questions. I'm going to answer one that just came in right now. It was actually a follow-up question from the Lavalita question. So someone was asking about Lavalita Elementary and where they're zoned for, and they're zoned for River Chase. And their follow-up question was, you mentioned earlier that Lavalita is zoned for River Chase, and that's a full-day program. Does that mean that Lavalita residents only have the option for full-day program? Dr. Cardoza, do you want to help answer that question? What parents can do, what options are available?
Absolutely. So we're fortunate in CFBISD that we do offer school choices. And so if any parent at any address wants to go to a different pre-K school that is not in their attendance zone, we welcome you to submit an application for transfer or admissions into our district or within our district. You can apply online and get access to the application at www.cfbstellar.com, and that is cfbstellar.com. You can go to that website, read about all our schools, all our special programs, and then at the top it tells you to apply.
I have another question from Glenn Griffith in Carrollton. This was a phone-in question, and Glenn asked, how do restroom breaks work? Are kids escorted? How do y'all handle restroom breaks in pre-K?
I'll answer for my campus because it's very easy, and we actually are lucky enough to have a restroom in our classroom. So that's very beneficial for our students, and they are able to just raise their hand, give me a gesture, and they're free to go whenever they need to go. Throughout the day, we do have one extra class break that we take together, and that's after lunch to make sure everyone has the opportunity to go as well. But that's at Central, and I know it looks different on other campuses.
So I can answer for a campus that doesn't have a restroom in the classroom. We do have restrooms in our hallway, so they're close by. And at the beginning of the year, obviously, we're concerned with making sure that students know where to go to the restroom. So we do spend a lot of time taking class breaks and just how to navigate the hallway, even though to adults, the hallway doesn't look that long, but when you're 4 years old and there's 8 doors, knowing which door to go into for the girls and the boys, and then knowing which door to go into for your classroom is really important. So we take class breaks and kind of go on a tour. This is how we get to the restroom. This is the girls' side. This is the boys' side, how to go into the restroom. It's really important that parents, you can start working on how to go into a stall and how to lock the door and unlock it so that you can get out after you've used the restroom. But yes, we do start off with class breaks, and then obviously at any time we don't ask pre-K students to wait very long to go to the restroom, because we know that when they say they have to go, it means I have to go pretty fast. So we do, some teachers have a signal that they raise one finger or they raise their hand, they ask to go. And then we do have teaching assistants on our campuses. And so at the beginning of the year, for the first several weeks, we do have an adult kind of standing in the hallway, making sure that they get to where they're supposed to and then get back to their classroom.
Another question. We actually have quite a few. So we've had a lot of participants on the phone and then also on Facebook and on the web. So we've had another one come in. They've asked this question a little earlier before we started the broadcast, and they've re-asked it. So what sets CFB apart from other districts as far as the pre-K curriculum? As far as the pre-K curriculum, would anyone like to answer that question?
So we follow the teaching strategies curriculum in our district, and like Trina said, it's a lot of play, learning by play, which is what these 4-year-olds need. You know, you can't expect them to sit for long periods of time and listen to stories. No, these kiddos are, I'm sure you've seen them, they're yours. They're energetic, they want to play, they want to sing, they want to jump, they want to have fun. So our teaching strategies curriculum, there's a lot of play and learning. And also, like I said earlier, CFB is home to me. I've been in the district since I was in kindergarten, and it's really nice to be back and be teaching. It really is like home. We care about our students, and we want them to be successful. And we rely on support from parents, and yeah, it's just great.
Yes, I would like to add on to what Yesenia just said about CFB like a family. They're very welcoming when it comes to a diverse population, and they just make you feel like home. This is my 14th year, and believe me, this is your family.
I'd also like to add that as a parent myself, I know when you're shopping around to figure out where your children are going to go to daycare and then school and then high school and college, you want to find a place where you can be set and grounded. And I think CFB is set apart that we have a we have a pre-K program that is full day or half day. So that gives you choice to know kind of what your child is ready for. And then also we have stellar programs where you can choose. You know, my child really loves fine arts, and so I'm going to send them to a fine arts academy or a fine arts school that starts in elementary, and then knowing that there are choices, awesome choices in middle school and high school. So I think as a parent, I would just advocate for CFB that you found one district that you can fit everything in, and you don't have to decide that we're going to go here for pre-K, but then we're going to have to start looking in 6 months for another place to go. Once you find your home in pre-K, you've got all of these choices that you can transfer to other campuses outside of your address or outside of your residency, and then know that we are here through age 18. And that's comforting to me to know as a parent that take a deep breath and relax, that we found a place where we belong.
And I just wanted to add a little bit more specifically about the curriculum itself. Like Yesenia said, it's a teaching strategies curriculum. It has like a unit or thematic based program that lasts for about a month or some weeks before moving on to the next, where we start with like a beginning of the year unit where we really talk about how expectations for pre-K, social and emotional skills, and we do a lot of the rules, procedures, and routines of the school. That's followed by a trees unit where we talk about cycles and how things grow, and we can talk about different things, life cycles of trees, animals, ourselves. So we talk a lot about needs and versus wants, and we can dive deep into that. It also has a clothes curriculum, like we were also talking about. It helps them to understand how to use clothing, what clothing is used for to dress themselves, you know, winter clothes versus spring clothes. If something tears, how can we fix that? So it's just giving them a broad teaching that's going to help them slowly develop the fundamental skills that they need as a child. Again, we go into buildings, construction, and it just helps reinforce a lot of the thinking process that's going to help in the future, if you will. So hope that answered the question.
Thank you very much. And I know walking the halls of schools, and especially going to the pre-K classrooms, we have certified, loving teachers. They're not only expert educators, but they're loving, caring individuals that are going to treat your student with respect and help them grow as a person as well as a learner. So thank you so much for all that you do. We really appreciate that. So we're going to go back to some of the write-in questions. We're going to talk a little bit about procedures a little bit. So first question is, a parent wrote in a little earlier, I'm worried about dismissal. How does that process work, and how do I get my kids home?
Okay, so I can answer that. Safety is a top priority in pre-K, and we know these students are 4 and that you are letting your babies go, and we do appreciate that you are entrusting their safety with us. So we spend a great deal of time at the beginning of the year and at the sneak a peek, which is where you meet the teacher before school, getting all of the information from you so that you can tell us how you would like for your child to get home. There are bus services for some students depending on how far you live from the school. There are options for you to pick up your child as a car rider. We do have some parents that are close enough to walk to school. We do have daycares that pick up at school, and then we have an in-house program after school called After the Bell. And we get that information from parents, and on my campus, and I'm sure every campus has their own particular way, but on our campus we tag their backpacks with their name, their teacher's name, and how they get home. And if they're a bus student, it also has their bus stop on it, because we don't rely on them on the beautiful yellow bus to say, I live in Cimarron Apartments. So their backpack is tagged so that we know where they are supposed to go at all times. And at the beginning of the year, we start very early in the day, packing up to go home, just to make sure that we get everyone to the right spot and that we're not rushing them and that they don't feel anxious about how they're going to get home. So at my campus, we have checklists. And we walk the students, for example, to the bus, and before they get on the bus, we check the tag, and then we also check our roster. And when they step foot on those stairs, that's when we check it off, just to make sure that everyone is in their exact location. We also have transportation cards that we hand out at the sneak a peek or at Meet the Teacher night, and parents who are walkers or car riders have to line up by teacher, and they have to show us that transportation card so that we can match the correct student with the correct family. So we know that you love your children, and we want to get them home safely just like you want them home safely. So we take those extra precautions. I just urge you, when your campus does have that sneak a peek night or the Meet the Teacher night, please make plans to be there, to talk with the teachers, so that in the days before the first day of school, we're doing all of the legwork, preparing for your children and making those rosters and preparing for that dismissal and arrival time.
And I did hear someone mention carpool. So how does carpool work on the campuses?
Well, I know, again, it looks different on all campuses. We have, our carpool is like we have van riders is what we call them. And as Trina said, we also call car tags, which the person picking up the child must have their car tag. And if they do not, whether it be mom, grandma, and I very well may know you, the system is the same. If you do not have it with you, you are asked to go to the office to show proper ID before we are able to give the child to anyone. And again, that's completely for the safety of the child, and as well for everyone on campus. Carpool, again, will look different on everyone's campus. They can either come pick them up teacher by teacher, but for pre-K on our campus, someone must physically come to us. It's not like other grade levels where, you know, I can trust them to go where they need to go. Someone must physically come to pick them up.
Great, thank you. And then how does bus transportation work for drop-off and dismissal? How does that work with buses?
In the morning, we have the aides and the teachers who wait for the buses to drop off the students. And then if students are going to eat breakfast, then they're taken to the cafeteria. If not, they are taken to the classroom where they do their morning work and enjoy nursery rhymes. Trina and I worked at the same campus, so she pretty much went over all the procedures of having name tags with student's name and bus number and all that. But just in case, what if the tag comes off and, what's going to happen to my child? Well, they also have their name tags on their backpacks, water bottle, and lunch boxes. And as a campus, we share a Google Doc with the master transportation list. So any adult, any faculty member can look at the water bottle or the lunch box and be able to tell that this student goes home and such bus number. So that's how it works on our campus.
That's great. Safety is a top priority in CFBISD, so we really appreciate all the processes and procedures that are taking place in pre-kindergarten, so we appreciate that. And speaking of sort of along those lines, how does medication work? What if my child has medication they need to take during the school day?
So on our CFB campuses, we do have a registered nurse on staff. And so if your child does take medication on a regular basis, I encourage you to come in and speak with the nurse before school starts if you can. But if not, on the first day of school, you have to bring the medication in the original bottle with the prescription label on it with your child's information. And the nurse will be able to administer that medication to your child. Doctors sometimes have to write orders depending on what the medication is. Students are not allowed to transport medication, so that is something that you would need to bring in and drop off in the office with the nurse.
Great. Thank you so much. We do want to remind people that if you don't want to answer your questions live, or if you have something very, very specific for your specific child, you can email us at cfbinfo@cfbisd.edu. That's cfbinfo@cfbisd.edu. You can email us, and your questions will get answered as soon as possible, and we'll have those for you so you can ask very specific questions maybe about your child. So we really appreciate that. We have one more question for procedures, then we might have some more live questions that we're going to answer from our people online. But dress code. How does dress code work, and do they get to wear anything? Is it determined by school? What's the deal?
So different campuses have different dress code policies, so I would check with the specific campus. For example, my campus has uniforms, but as in general, we would suggest that you have either pants that they can button or snap. Otherwise, I would wear elastic waistband pants. And then we do recommend shorts or something underneath dresses or skirts for kids. Just being they don't necessarily know when, how to sit or in the correct way to not show everybody. So, Yesenia.
So at PreK, our students do not use a school uniform, but when you register your kiddos, you will get the dress code, so you can see what is appropriate and what's not appropriate for the students to wear. But I also want to add that in pre-K, they're very active, so tennis shoes are important for them. We go to recess every day. At my campus, we actually go twice to recess. And even on when it's rainy outside, we'll do indoor recess, but we'll do like dance videos in the classroom, so they're active. So tennis shoes are important and for them. And also with speaking of tennis shoes, it would be very helpful for us if they could use Velcro. Unless if they can tie their shoes, then that's awesome. They can definitely go for it. But Velcro, something that they themselves can put on, and if it slips off, and they can tie themselves.
Can I add also, most campuses ask that parents put an extra change of clothes in the backpack. So whether your campus is a uniform campus and you're asked to add an extra uniform change of clothes or a non-uniform, that's really important. So we try to be very discreet when students have accidents, and even parents who tell us, my child never has accidents. It happens. And we want to make sure that we are being respectful of the student's dignity. And so we try to take them away, quietly and just ask, did you have an accident? We can help you. You don't need to cry. But it's much better if we have those clothes right there in their backpack where we can get them changed in the nurse's office than to have to call you to come in and wait 20 or 30 minutes in wet clothes. So along with the dress code, just remember to put their clothes in a Ziploc bag, and don't forget the underwear and the socks. So that sometimes they're very upset that they don't have some of their own personal things in their backpack.
Well, I know double recess was a dream of mine in elementary school, so that's awesome that you could double recess. That's so cool. But I think Angela has some more live questions from our audience, so get prepared, expert educators.
Dr. Cardoza, we're going back to you. We've had a couple questions, follow-up questions about transfers. So we've had, how long does a transfer take for them to be notified that if they get the transfer? And then what is the process? Can you walk through a little bit of the transfer process for parents?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So basically, how long it takes for us to respond to your transfer request just depends on how many people have applied in ahead of you. Sometimes we have 50 ahead of an applicant, and sometimes we have up to 300 or 400 because we cover pre-K through 12th grade. So it's a lot of students in a district our size. So the process is, if you go to our district stellar webpage of CFBISD.com, you can read about all our academies and opportunities that we have available. Another option that I didn't mention earlier is that if you're zoned for a half-day school and you want to go to full day, or if you're zoned for full day and want to go to half day, that is an option in our transfer process. But once you're at that webpage, you can read about all the schools and academies that we have available. And once you're ready to apply, there is an option at the top right if you're on the webpage, or on your phone, there's a drop-down menu that says Apply Now. Once you're in that Apply Now, the first thing it'll ask you to do is check your address. It'll take you to a map. Once you enter your address, it'll kind of tell you what school you're zoned to, and if that is not the school that you feel is going to cater to the needs of your child, that's okay, because we have school choice in our districts. That's why we have it. And so if you want to apply to a school that's not zoned to your address, you would click the orange button that says Apply to a School of Choice. It will take you to application, and you will get a confirmation email that your application was submitted, and from there we will review it. If you enter your address and it's your attendance zone, on that same page there's a blue button that says Enroll, and so you would just go online and enroll if that's the school that you want to go to, and then after that you can call the school just to confirm that all your documents are in. And as you see, schools for the most part do a lot of things the same, but do a lot of things differently with some dates and times. You can get some of that information from those specific schools. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to call our office at 972-968-6500. Again, 972-968-6500, or email our school district email address that I'll let Jason repeat in a little bit.
Okay, I've had another question from, this was online through our website, and the question is, how do you handle discipline of young children?
So we really feel like discipline in young children is shaping and molding them. Okay, so 4-year-olds are active and they're going to do things sometimes that they're not supposed to. Sometimes they're doing it to try you and test boundaries, and sometimes they just don't know. And so a lot of what we do through our discipline is teaching. We are trying to teach them to make the right choices. So a lot of times when we have students that make the wrong choice, again, trying to respect their dignity and their self-esteem, we'd like to pull them aside and get down on their level and really talk to them about, well, what did you just do? Why did you do that? Is there a choice that could have been different? Your friend is now crying. Is there something that you can do to make the situation better? We try not to be punitive because we've just found that it doesn't work in young children. We want to make sure that they love going to school. And so we are firm with what we know is good and safe for children, but we're also fair and understanding that children make mistakes. We all make mistakes, and we want them to know that school is a place where you're going to be given more chances to fix it and change your behavior.
I would like to piggyback on Trina. Going back to the units, like our curriculum, the beginning of the unit really does help us, allows us to work on a lot of the issues that we may foresee for the year. It works on a lot of social skills, and it talks about interacting with each other. For me, on my campus, relationship building is huge. So in our classroom, we are all friends. I am their friend. We are all friends, and it's really just basically treat others as you would, want to be treated, and how we work on that. But again, we do all make mistakes, and we try to figure out, problem solve, right? The best way to address them, and you always have a chance to be back on top, always.
Awesome. So we have some more questions that were submitted earlier on in the last couple days, and so we're going to run through these. Do pre-kindergartners stay with the same teacher throughout the day? And do they have the opportunity to change classrooms? How does that work?
So, excuse me, for the most part, students will stay with the same teacher unless we have an activity or specials time on your campus, then they will see either the art teacher, the PE coach, or the music teacher. But other than that, they'll be in the classroom with their homeroom teacher and then with a teacher assistant as well.
Great. And someone else wrote in, is pre-K offered in more than one language?
Yes, it's offered in Spanish, and also, of course, the ESL support is right there.
I'm going to piggyback on that. I myself am a bilingual teacher, and we do offer the bilingual program for students. However, they do have to qualify when they enroll. Parents are asked if there's another language spoken at home, and then based on what they answer, we will do an evaluation on the student and see if they qualify for either the bilingual program or if they qualify for ESL, which is just support for students whose primary language is not English.
Great. And then I get this question a lot. Do pre-K students learn to read in pre-K, or how does that work?
So in pre-K, we focus on building concepts about print, and some students will leave reading, but some students will not be ready for it. But our biggest goal is to just prepare them for being ready to read in kindergarten.
Okay, we did have someone write in a question just now about, can anyone explain what after the bell is and how that process works a little bit more?
I would love to answer that. I was actually the After the Bell co-site director of my school, and before that, I used to work After the Bell, so I'm the right person to answer this. But yes, all of the schools, have After the Bell program, and that is just after-school childcare. Depending on your campus, it is offered to the students who are at full-day pre-K. Shelley, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the moment, there's not for the half-day students. But check with the campus. You can register. It's based on, there's a tuition. But yeah, and they get to continue their day at school. There's different activities. They get a snack, recess. There's a time for homework. For the pre-K students, they would read stories to them. So, yes.
Great. And you can find After the Bell information. If you go to our pre-K website, there's a link to After the Bell. And that pre-K website, once again, is www.cfbisd.edu/pre-K, P-R-E-K. All right, we're going to continue with some of the questions. What trainings do teachers have to become a pre-kindergarten teacher? What qualifications do you need?
So all of pre-K teachers in CFB are certified teachers by the state of Texas, and then every 5 years our license is renewed, but we also attend trainings and professional developments all year long for to help us grow and develop as teachers.
Great. Thank you so much. And like we said earlier, all of our pre-K teachers are certified teachers in the classrooms. So they're all certified teachers ready to instruct your child. So that it's great. In CFB, they're all certified teachers. We do have a question about school supplies. What do they need? How do they find out that information?
So this year, all pre-K classes will have the same supplies across the district. You can get a list from your child's school, and I believe if you go to Walmart and Target when it's closer to back to school, you'll be able to find it there too. Some of the items that will be on the list will be folder, pencils, crayons, markers, glue sticks, and things of that sorts.
Okay. And again, I would double check when you have meet the teacher night or when you go to enroll your child on campus that you check. Sometimes there may be additional items on the supplies list for pre-K that works for their campus. I know Central may have a couple items that we also add to that list.
Great. So we're running out of time. So we're almost at the end of our pre-K live event. Thank you everyone for joining. If your question did not get answered or you think of a question after the event, we will be replaying this and have this on YouTube as Facebook as well. But if you have a question that pops into your head, you can email us at cfbinfo@cfbisd.edu. That's cfbinfo@cfbisd.edu. And I want to have one last question before we end the night, and this is going to be for everybody, so everybody can chime in. So as we end the program, what's your last piece of advice for young parents that are going to have pre-K students?
I would just say trust in the process. We're called experts, but again, we're all just doing our best every day for sure. Trust in the process, trust in us, that we are doing the best for everyone on campus. The kiddos, I feel we form, like I said, the relationships is so huge in the beginning. We really form that relationship with them and are doing the best for each individual child, so trust in the process.
I would just advise parents to take a deep breath and exhale. And I know as a parent with a young child, sometimes I get nervous and uptight about what's going to happen and how's this going to go. And we are going to welcome your child into our classroom. We are going to love them like they are our own. And communication is huge. So I really believe that the parents in my classroom are partners with me. And so I enjoy working with parents, talking with parents, communicating with them. And you're going to be amazed to see what your little 4-year-old can do even by November, by Thanksgiving, the winter break. It's going to be an amazing transformation, and I just feel honored and blessed that you trust me with your children and that we can watch them grow together. And we look at our 4-year-olds now, almost all 5-year-olds at the end of the year, talking to them about, I can't believe you're going to kindergarten. And they are so independent and so just full of life. And if you're concerned about your child speaking English and learning more about communication, the transformation there language-wise is also pretty amazing to watch. So thank you for trusting us here in CFB with your precious kids.
I would like to just emphasize on bedtime routine. It is super, super important that they go to bed on time every day, as early as possible, and get a good night's sleep, and stick to it, please, because it can make a huge difference in their school day.
My advice to parents would be to talk to your children, talk about feelings. I know this is a very scary, going to school for the very first time. For some of these kiddos, it's the first time they ever leave mom and dad. So definitely talk about those emotions. You know, it's going to be scary at first, but it's going to be awesome. And even when once they've started school, continue to talk to your kiddos. How was school? What did you do today that you enjoyed? Was there something that you didn't like? What did you have for lunch? How are your friends doing? Just that communication, getting them to talk, it's really going to help them express themselves, and it's going to help them in the long run once they start in kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Having that language is definitely going to help them. So just talk to your kiddos.
I would just add, in addition to making sure they get plenty of rest because they'll be extra tired, just encourage them and keep at it. There will probably be tears at first, but it gets a lot better throughout the year, and just keep encouraging them and talking to them about the positive school experience that they're having.
My words of advice are going to be just build strong relationships and get to know your classroom teacher, the other staff at the school, the librarian, the specials teachers, the counselor. the administration team. You know, it's a team effort, and everyone here in CFBISD wants nothing but the best for your child. So getting to know the school staff, the district staff, going to as many events as possible, and also connecting with other parents at your school, so that if you're not able to be there on time or anything, they can take pictures for you and just share things with you. So just build a community at your school as much as possible.
Well, I want to thank all of you because you were awesome at what you've done tonight and awesome in the classroom. So we really appreciate you being here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I appreciate everyone that tuned in online and that was on the phone. Thank you so much. We want to conclude the evening by giving you some things about our pre-K program. Just to let you know, in CFB ISD, we have a full day program and a half day program. And we also have a pay for pre-K program where if you don't qualify for pre-K, and I'll go over the qualifications in just a second, you can actually pay to attend our pre-K programs with our expert certified teachers. And it is a very affordable cost, and it is, you know, you have them in the class, they're learning the curriculum, and they're by loving, caring teachers. It is awesome, awesome opportunity for people out there. But let me read the qualifications really quickly, and then we'll end with a video. But first off, limited English is the first criteria. Economically disadvantaged would be number 2. Classified as homeless would be 3. A child of an active duty member of the United States Armed Forces, a child of a member of the services of any active duty, a child in foster care presently or in the past, and then a student that has received the STAR Award in Texas. So those are the 7 criteria, but you can also pay for pre-K and you'll be set up as well. So we want to thank everyone for being here. You can watch the replay on YouTube and Facebook, and you can also get all the awesome information about all of our pre-K programs and go over those qualifications again and everything about pay for pre-K at www.cfbisd.edu/pre-K.